Today we're working on the pentatonic scale. It is a 5-note scale. So we're going to do this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. All right, hello. All right, everyone. We're back for another tutorial. Today we're going to be doing the pentatonic scale. So this is a question from one of my students. I'm going to bring up the question here. So he says he was practicing. I gave him some pentatonic scale positions to practice, and his question was, can't understand why there are different patterns for the A minor pentatonic throughout the neck of the guitar. I can memorize them, but I don't know how to go from one pattern to another. It's a very good question, and that's one of the kind of stumbling blocks many guitar players have. So let me explain it to you, and we're going to go over some of these patterns. All right, here we go. Okay, let me start with the A minor pentatonic pattern. This pattern you probably already know. It's because it's kind of the standard minor pentatonic pattern, and it's going to be in the key of A minor. So it's going to start on this 5th fret. It sounds like this. Now, if those of you that have already know this scale pattern may have said, well, what about this note up here? Why didn't you go up to here? Well, you could go up to that, and it's part of the scale, but I think it's important to be able to practice the scale up to the octaves of what key you're in. So for instance, if we're in this key of A here, we're going to walk up to the A octave. Here, I'll read off the notes as I play them. So it's A, C, D, E, G, A. There's our first octave. A, C, D, E, G, A. And what that does, it kind of helps centers our ear around that key. If I kind of finish off on this note, it starts to shift or balance a little bit, and that starts to become a C major pentatonic, which I will get into in maybe another tutorial. So just hang off on your questions just yet. But so basically, again, A minor pentatonic, and going to all the way to, it's 2 octaves if I go and stop on this note and back down. So the question that my student sent me was, again, why are there many different patterns for this particular scale? And then how do I connect those different patterns? And it's a great question. And part of the reason why there's different patterns is because of just the note system and the way they lay on the guitar. So for instance, let me say those notes again in this scale, which is A, C, D, E, G, and then A. Now, if I play that exact same pattern, just that first octave, maybe let's say starting on this note, which is a C, here's the notes we get. We get C, E flat, F, we get G, we get a B flat, and we get a C. So as you can tell, there was a couple notes in there that were different than the A pattern down here. And that's why we need, that's why we need to change our pattern, because when we're playing in here, we need to make that sort of correction to make sure that we're still playing the same notes. Otherwise, we're going to be playing in a different key. So when I play this A minor pentatonic pattern here and I move it to different locations, I'm changing keys. So it's important to know that starting note. Now, because the sheet that I gave my student had all these different positions of A minor pentatonic, and they were different. And the reason why is because they were they were the same notes, and they were compensating for any how the notes were in that area to make sure that they were the same notes of that A minor pentatonic. So that makes it kind of tricky, because there are 5 positions of the A minor pentatonic, and the reason why is because there's 5 notes of the scale, so we're going to have 5 different positions throughout the neck of the guitar. Now, the 5 positions are just working this direction. It's good to be able to play the scales up and down in this direction as well, which is really not position dependent. It's just literally going horizontal across the guitar. And that's a great way to kind of learn the scales, because you start to learn the different spacings between the notes. It also can change your phrasing quite a bit. And what I mean by phrasing is I could play these notes like this, But some of them I have to pick, for meaning if I have to play this note here to this note, I have to pick those two to get the sound. Whereas if I know where this note right here is on this string, which happens to be right down here, then I can do some things with it. I can slide down to it, or I can even pull off to that, which is a different sound than going. So that's kind of a little bit in what we would call a phrasing, a different type of phrasing, I should say, versus. See how they're the same notes, but they do sound different in how I got to those two notes. So knowing these different positions help us kind of broaden our ability to kind of get different sounds with the same 5 notes, all right? So let's get into the other part of that question, which was how do I move in and out between those positions? Well, here's kind of a good rule of thumb to start with, is to slide into the new position, but only use the spots that are 2 frets apart. So let me give you an example. So if let's take a look at this scale again. Now, let me play the position above this, still A minor, but I'm going to play the different pattern right here. It's going to look like this. I'm starting on the 8th fret. That's that position up there. Now, what I think is what I like to do, and you don't have to do this, but this is a good starting point, is to slide up into the new position anywhere where there's a 2 fret span. So let me give you an example, and I think it'll clarify what I mean by that. So, and I usually like to choose one string to make my position change to start with. You want to be able to do it on all strings, but choose a string, and let's say I'm going to use this string right here, this 3rd string. So I'm going to play the A minor into this position here. Once I get to this string, I'm going to slide up into the new position, and then I can play that new position. So it's going to sound like this. Just like that. Now, if I want to get back down into this position, I would use the same string to kind of move back down. Now, this is just a practice thing. And like I said before, you want to be able to do it on all strings so you have a lot of flexibility to move in and out of it. But limiting yourself to just the places where there's 2 frets versus, for instance, on this string, this 2nd string here, there is 1, 2, 3 frets between the 2 notes in this part of the scale. And you could slide into that. It's not that people don't do that, but again, try to limit yourself to keep things simple and to the 2 frets at a time. So basically, in this one position here, we have 3 strings that we can do it on. We can do it on this, the 5th string. We can do it on the 4th string. We can also do it on the 3rd string there. So I would try that on each one of those strings there. Just try to slide it up into the new position here. So that's on this 5th string, and then finish off the rest of the scale on the new pattern here. And back down that same string, then try the next string down and do that. Just like that. Now the same rules would apply to move backwards or the other direction. So we have a few strings that we can do this on. We can do it on the 5th string here. We can go down there. We can also go on the 2nd string. We can also go on the 1st string. So we can also do it in this position as well. So we're going to be sliding with our 3rd finger on pretty much all these. Well, down here we can use our 1st finger. Like that. So, and same thing if we're coming in, if we're going from this position up to this, same rules will apply. So let me play this position. All right, so if I wanted to get from this position up to here, I would use that same kind of principle. I may have to switch fingers to make sure that the finger that I use to slide into it is going to fall right into the new position the way you would play that new position. Let me give you an example. So if normally I would play this pattern like this with 2, 4, and then so I'm shouting out the fingerings, 2, 4, 2, 4. But if I wanted to get into this new position in here, I may go like this. I may just start off with 1 and 3 to kind of predict, or to anticipate, I should say, this new position here. So you do have to kind of work different fingerings depending on where you're at. So let me, I can use this string here too. Actually, I can use, now that I think about it, there's a lot of strings I can use in this one. I may stretch with my third finger here, slide into that. I can slide back down here. Again, I'm always keeping that 2 fret area to make that connection. Do it in here too. That's more going from here to here. Going back into here, it was those strings that I mentioned before, with this string here, that string here, because it was 2 frets apart. Okay, so I would kind of work on doing that, and here's a way to kind of improvise with this, is to start in this position, get into the next position, come back to this position, do a little more improvising, and then kind of work your way down. It's good to kind of play in the positions that are adjacent to this main position. The reason why is because this is very comfortable for a lot of people. And if you get too far away from home, like you're down in this area and you're not comfortable, it's going to be tough to kind of jump back into your safe zone here. And so I would recommend just start learning the main position, 1 position above, and then 1 position below that. And that should get you kind of going on that. And you're kind of using, again, use 1 string to kind of connect them. Now, for instance, you can't use 1 string to go both up and down. Sometimes it may work in different scales and stuff like that, but the pentatonic is not going to work that well, meaning this. If I use this string here to move up, here's a nice 2 fret slide up into the next position, but going on the same string down, I can't do that because there's a 3 fret span here. Now, again, this is just a simple rule I'm confining you guys to. Eventually you can slide that 3 frets, keep on making that point, but I think it's important to know that limiting yourself can sometimes help build the understanding of a certain concept like this. Okay, so what else? I think that's about it on this scale. So hopefully that helps you understand why we have a couple different patterns, not couple, but we have 5 different patterns, as well as kind of a simple way to kind of connect these. So work on that and let me know how it goes. Thanks for watching this video tutorial on the pentatonic scales. Hopefully it helps. I'll have more things we can do with the scales. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So enjoy and stay tuned.